All right, today we are cracking open a file on what might just be the most detailed, most elaborate conspiracy theory ever put to paper. And I gotta tell you, this thing goes way beyond just a few UFO sightings. This is a blueprint for a secret government, a hidden history, and a future that was supposedly planned out for every single one of us completely in the dark. So here's how we're going to walk through this incredible story. We're going to start with a shocking discovery right after World War II. Then we'll watch as a shadow government is born to keep it all under wraps. From there, we'll get into a treaty with, well, with aliens that ends in a terrible betrayal. We'll look at the absolutely desperate plans they made for humanity's survival. And finally, we'll uncover the extreme, terrifying lengths this group went to in order to protect the secret. You know, to really get how insane this was, you have to put yourself in their shoes for a second. The US had just won World War II. They'd unleashed the atomic bomb. They were, without a doubt, the most powerful nation on Earth. And yet, according to this document, they were about to come face to face with something that made all of that power, all of those weapons, totally and completely useless. Okay, so let's dive in. Our story kicks off in the years right after the war. You know, the whole world is breathing a sigh of relief, celebrating this hard-won peace. But behind the scenes, a completely different kind of war was just getting started. A secret war that would change the meaning of national security forever. Just look at how fast this thing escalated. It all supposedly kicks off in 1947 with Roswell. We've all heard of it. But the document claims they found a live alien there. They nicknamed it EBE for extraterrestrial biological entity. A year later, it gets so much darker. More crashes, this time in Aztec, New Mexico. And then by 1952, EBE dies, and the government is apparently so lost, so desperate, they start beaming a cry for help out into deep space. And let's be real clear about the scale we're talking about here. This isn't one fuzzy photo or some isolated incident. The source alleges that 16 separate alien craft were recovered in less than 6 years. 16! Plus 65 alien bodies and that one living being, EBE. So you see, this wasn't just a mystery anymore. It was rapidly turning into a full-blown crisis. And this is where everything changed. The moment they allegedly found human remains inside one of those crashed ships in Aztec, well, that turned the entire situation on its head. This wasn't about curious visitors anymore. It was about a potentially hostile, terrifying threat. And the level of secrecy that clamped on after that, it supposedly made the Manhattan Project look like an open book. So you've got this massive, terrifying secret. I mean, how in the world do you keep a lid on that? The government realized pretty quickly that their normal way of doing things just wouldn't cut it. They needed something new, something totally off the books, a hidden power structure built for one reason and one reason only, to control the alien problem and manage the truth at all costs. And you can really see their strategy shifting over time. First, you have Project Sign, which was a genuine attempt to study what was going on. But as things got more and more alarming, it turned into the much more secretive Project Grudge. And what about the famous Project Blue Book, the one we all heard about? Well, according to this source, it was nothing more than a PR stunt, a public-facing operation designed to collect sightings while simultaneously debunking everything and feeding bad info to the media. And right at the very heart of this new Shao government, you've got this group, Majestic 12, or MJ-12. Supposedly created by a top-secret order from President Eisenhower himself, this wasn't some temporary task force. Oh no. This was a permanent, all-powerful committee. Its members, we're talking the head of the CIA, the Secretary of Defense, even J. Edgar Hoover. And get this, 6 members from the ultra-powerful Council on Foreign Relations, a group they called the Wise Men. And the stakes? Yeah, they were life and death, right from the get-go. The source claims that when the very first Secretary of Defense, James Forrestal, started pushing back, he was a deeply religious man and he thought the public had a right to know, he was forced out of his job. He was put in a naval hospital and, well, the document says he was murdered. He was the first official victim of the cover-up, and he wouldn't be the last. Okay, so the secret government is in place, and the story takes its next wild turn. Remember that call for help they sent out into space after EBE died? Well, somebody answered. Actually, 2 very different somebodies allegedly answered, which led to a massive decision, a choice that, according to this text, would basically seal humanity's fate. So check this out. You've got 2 completely different offers on the table. First, a race of aliens that look human shows up. They warn us about another, more aggressive species, and they offer to help us spiritually. But there's a huge catch. We'd have to destroy all of our nuclear weapons. The US said no. Then another group arrives, the Greys, with the large noses, from a dying planet. They don't want us to disarm. They want to make a deal. They offered unbelievable technology in exchange for, well, for a price. And the government took the deal.
And this brings us to the treaty itself, supposedly signed in secret by President Eisenhower in 1954. The terms laid out here are just mind-blowing. In exchange for their technology, the U.S. agrees to keep their existence a complete secret. But this is the kicker. They agree to let the aliens abduct a limited number of human beings for medical study, with the promise that they'd be returned totally unharmed with their memories wiped clean.
But of course, the deal went south, fast. By 1955, it became horrifyingly clear to MJ-12 that they had been played. Mutilated animals, and even humans, started turning up. They suspected the lists of abductees the aliens were providing were just a fraction of the real number. They'd made a deal with the devil, and they realized with pure terror that we had absolutely no way to fight back.
So this betrayal, combined with a second, equally terrifying scientific discovery, really forced their hand. A secret group of top scientists called the Jason Scholars basically concluded that by the year 2000, our planet's environment was going to completely collapse from pollution and overpopulation. So now they're facing hostile aliens and a dying planet. They were ordered to come up with survival plans, 3 of them to be exact.
And here are the 3 absolutely desperate plans they came up with. Alternative 1, just nuke holes in the atmosphere to let the pollution out. Yeah, they dismissed that one pretty quick as way too dangerous. But alternatives 2 and 3, they activated them, both of them. The plan was to build huge underground cities to save a handful of humanity, while at the same time using the new alien tech to get off Earth and set up colonies on the Moon, codenamed Adam, and Mars, codenamed Eve. And here's where this story takes its darkest turn. I mean, it's truly chilling. The document claims that to buy time for these massive projects, the plan included a delaying action to reduce the world population. It says they targeted what they called undesirable elements of society and that deadly man-made viruses were released. The text explicitly named the AIDS virus as just one result of this horrific plan.
So you've got these unbelievable, world-altering plans secretly in motion. The cover-up now has to enter its final, most ruthless phase. This secret had to be protected no matter what. And anyone, I mean anyone, who threatened to expose it, even the President of the United States, had to be handled. And this is where the source makes maybe its most explosive claim of all, about the assassination of JFK. It alleges that Kennedy found out about the alien treaty, about the secret drug money funding it all. And in 1963, he gave MJ-12 an ultimatum: shut it all down or he'd tell the world. The document flat out states that his assassination was ordered by the policy committee and carried out by his own Secret Service driver in the front seat of the car. And this just shows you the insane level of deception we're talking about. While the entire world is glued to their TVs watching Neil Armstrong take one small step, the document says it was all basically a Hollywood production, a brilliant distraction to funnel billions into the real space program. According to this text, a joint US, Soviet, and alien base called Luna was already up and running on the far side of the Moon, and a colony on Mars was already being built. And it didn't stop there. The cover-up allegedly changed modern history again with Watergate. When the scandal threatened to blow up in Nixon's face, MJ-12 got terrified that the alien secret would come out with his impeachment files. So, the source claims, the Joint Chiefs of Staff staged a quiet little military coup. They sent a secret message to military leaders all over the world: if you get an order from the White House, ignore it. Nixon was powerless. He had to resign. And that brings us to what the document describes as the end game. A final contingency plan, supposedly practiced in 1984 under the name Rex 84. And the plan is terrifyingly simple. Create a crisis, maybe a terrorist threat, that's bad enough to justify declaring a national emergency. Then you suspend the Constitution and you round up anyone who might be a problem and put them in concentration camps, camps that the document claims are already built and waiting. So, there you have it. A story that completely rewrites the last 70 years of human history. It ties together UFOs, assassinations, the space race, secret societies, all into one single, terrifyingly logical narrative. It's a detailed, complex, and deeply, deeply disturbing vision of our world.
And after laying it all out, we're left with the only question that really matters. What is the truth?